Here's a psychology truth most ambitious people aren't ready to hear. You're not lazy, your brain is overwhelmed. If you've ever felt driven, full of ideas, big goals, but somehow stuck, inconsistent, or paralyzed, this video is for you. Because real laziness doesn't feel frustrating, confusion does, and a confused mind doesn't act, it freezes. Most people think procrastination is a discipline problem. It's not. It's a clarity problem. When your brain doesn't know what matters most, it defaults to comfort. Add the wrong environment, noisy inputs, the wrong circle, constant digital pressure, and suddenly your ambition has nowhere to go. You don't need more motivation. You need a better system. And that's exactly what you're about to get. These aren't hacks. They're 7 psychological steps that reset how your mind works, from clarity to identity to action. If you've been asking yourself why your potential isn't matching your results, stay with me. By the end of this, you won't just understand the problem, you'll know exactly what to do next. Before discipline, before productivity, before mindset, there's clarity. And most people skip this part. You're not stuck because you're lazy. You're stuck because your mind is overloaded. When everything feels important, nothing moves. Psychology is clear on this. A cluttered mind kills action. If your mental focus is scattered, your brain defaults to comfort. That's not a character flaw. It's survival mode, pretending to be procrastination. So the first move isn't motivation. It's a brain dump. Grab a piece of paper and write everything that's looping in your head. Tasks, worries, ideas, half decisions. Don't organize yet. Just unload. This single act lowers cognitive load and frees decision-making energy. High performers don't rely on memory. They externalize it. That's how real self-development starts. Not with thinking harder, but thinking clearer. Once it's on paper, you batch. Calls with calls, errands with errands, creative work with creative work. Your brain hates context switching. It drains time management and focus faster than any distraction. Then you sequence 1, 2, 3. No emotion, no drama. And here's the hard part most people avoid: elimination. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hard no. Personal growth accelerates the moment you stop negotiating with non-essentials. This step feels simple, and that's why people underestimate it. But clarity creates momentum. Momentum creates discipline. Discipline reshapes identity. You'll notice something shift once the noise drops. Decisions feel lighter, action feels possible. That's when you realize the real issue was never effort, it was confusion. And once the fog lifts, a deeper question starts forming. If clarity changes behavior, what happens when you change who you believe you are? Here's where most people get it backward and sabotage their own personal growth. They think change works like this. First, I do more, then I achieve more, then I become someone better. Psychology says the opposite. Behavior doesn't create identity. Identity creates behavior. Your mindset follows the story you tell yourself every day. If you still see yourself as someone trying, your brain will always look for exits. High performers don't wait for results to feel aligned. They decide who they are first. Not, I'm going to the gym, but I'm a healthy person. Not, I'm trying to be productive, but I'm someone who protects mental focus. This sounds subtle, but it rewires how your brain evaluates decisions. Every action becomes a vote for who you are becoming. That's how discipline stops feeling forced and starts feeling natural. The practical move here is simple but uncomfortable. Say it out loud, daily, literally. Your brain responds to repetition and emotional certainty. Statements like, I'm someone who finishes what I start, or I don't negotiate with distractions, create internal consistency pressure. Over time, habits stop being tasks and start becoming standards. That's one of the most overlooked life lessons in self-development. You don't rise to goals, you fall to identity. Once identity shifts, resistance changes shape. You don't need motivation to act in alignment with who you believe you are. But here's the catch most people miss. Identity collapses if the environment contradicts it. You can't think your way into a new self while standing in the same room with the same inputs and the same influences. Which brings up the next uncomfortable truth. Sometimes it's not you, it's the room you're in. Here's a truth most self-development content avoids because it sounds too simple. No positive thought survives a bad environment. Your brain is adaptive, not heroic. It responds to cues, friction, and ease. If your surroundings constantly pull you toward distraction, comfort, or low standards, your discipline will leak quietly. That's why mindset alone doesn't hold. Productivity isn't built by willpower, it's built by design. Start with the physical environment. Your room, your desk, your phone screen, they're not neutral. Clutter increases cognitive load and drains mental focus without you noticing. Clean space equals clear thinking. Lay out gym clothes where you can't ignore them. Keep your book visible, your phone slightly inconvenient. High performers don't rely on motivation. They remove friction from the right behaviors and add friction to the wrong ones. That's real time management at work. Then comes the relational environment, the circle. You don't rise to the level of your ambition, you stabilize at the level of your surroundings. Psychology is brutal here. You become the average of the people you spend time with. This doesn't mean cutting everyone off. It means intentionally adding A players, people who execute, think clearly, and live with standards. You don't need more friends. You need allies who normalize growth. Finally, the digital environment, the most underestimated one. What you scroll becomes what you think. What you consume shapes your inner dialogue. Curate your feeds, your podcasts, your inputs, like your future depends on it, because it does. Put your phone outside the bedroom in the morning. Start the day before the world gets access to your mind. Once your environment stops fighting you, energy returns. And when energy returns, the next question becomes unavoidable. How do you protect and multiply it without burning out? Here's a hard rule most people learn too late. Your level of success will never exceed your level of energy. Not motivation, not ambition. Energy. Your brain and body aren't separate systems. They're one operating unit. When energy is low, discipline feels heavy, focus collapses, and productivity turns into resistance. This isn't laziness. It's biology quietly overruling your goals. The first pillar is movement, and not as an afterthought. Exercise isn't about aesthetics. It's about regulating the nervous system. When you move early, you burn off mental noise and stabilize attention. A simple 20-30 minute workout in the morning, walking, lifting, body weight, shifts your brain chemistry for hours. High performers don't wait to feel ready. They use movement to create mental focus. The second pillar is nutrition, fuel, not reward. Food sends instructions to your brain. Protein stabilizes focus. Carbs influence energy rhythm. Fats support cognitive function. You don't need perfection, just awareness. Start by asking one better question. Does this meal help or hijack my productivity? Energy management is advanced time management. You can't think clearly on a system running on spikes and crashes. The third pillar is recovery, the most disrespected one. Growth doesn't happen during effort. It happens during rest. Sleep isn't optional, it's strategic. 7 to 8 hours isn't weakness, it's leverage. When recovery improves, discipline stops feeling like a fight. And once energy becomes stable, action feels lighter. That's when momentum starts knocking, and the real challenge becomes learning how to use it before it fades. Here's what most people misunderstand about productivity. Starting is harder than continuing. Physics explains it, psychology confirms it. Inertia is real. Your brain resists change not because the task is hard, but because transition costs energy. That's why ambitious people feel lazy. They aim too big, too fast, and trigger avoidance. Momentum doesn't come from intensity, it comes from small wins stacked consistently. The smartest move is to lower the entry point. Make the first step almost impossible to fail. 5 minutes, one page, one email, one set. When you show up once, your brain updates the story. I'm someone who starts. Create a simple 7-day streak. Same action, same time, no negotiation. Streaks create psychological momentum, and momentum quietly builds discipline without requiring motivation. Another accelerator most people ignore: public commitment. You become your conversations. When you tell someone what you're doing, identity pressure kicks in. Saying no also becomes a skill here. Every yes drains focus. Every intentional no protects it. This is where time management stops being about calendars and starts being about boundaries. Growth requires subtraction before it allows multiplication. Here's the insight most people miss. Momentum collapses when your week is chaotic. Not because you're weak, but because your brain hates unpredictability. When days blur together, discipline leaks. That's why systems that reset your week, reduce digital noise, and restore clarity feel almost unfair in how effective they are. If your mind has felt overloaded, scattered, or constantly behind, there's a reason tools that reorganize attention, not just tasks, change everything. Once momentum locks in, the next step becomes obvious. You don't need more ambition, you need proximity to it. Here's a reality most people don't want to hear: ambition isn't created in isolation, it's absorbed. Your brain mirrors what it's consistently exposed to. That's why motivation spikes after a great conversation and dies in stagnant environments. You don't need to manufacture drive from scratch. That's exhausting. You need proximity. When ambition becomes normal around you, action stops feeling heroic and starts feeling expected. This is where the right people change everything. Think in terms of leverage, not friendship. You need at least one mentor, someone who has already done what you're trying to do. That collapses years of trial and error into clarity. Then there's the investor mindset: people who understand risk, patience, and long term thinking. Even listening to how they talk rewires how you evaluate decisions and time management. And finally, the operator, the builder, the person who executes, ships, and turns ideas into reality. Operators ground ambition. They don't overthink, they move. Being around them pulls you out of theory and into action. This isn't about networking for status. It's about immersion. Rooms shape behavior. Conversations shape standards. Proximity quietly upgrades mindset faster than any book ever could. The practical move is simple but uncomfortable. Put yourself where these people already are: events, workshops, private communities, online rooms that demand participation. Lurk less, engage more. Performance rises when exposure increases. And once ambition becomes contagious, hesitation feels out of place. That's when one final obstacle remains: not knowledge, not clarity, not energy, but the courage to act before you feel ready. Here's the final truth most ambitious people avoid: waiting for clarity is often just disguised fear. The brain loves perfect plans because they delay exposure. But real personal growth doesn't happen after the perfect decision. It happens because you move and adjust. Action creates information. Information creates clarity. If you're still waiting to feel ready, you're letting comfort make decisions for you. The most powerful question you can ask isn't, "What's the best plan?" It's, "What's the most important next step?" Right now, one email, one application, one draft, one conversation, small, imperfect, and immediate. If your first step doesn't make you slightly uncomfortable, you probably waited too long. Discipline isn't about intensity, it's about reducing the gap between intention and action. High performers live by a simple rule: make the decision, then make it right. Not the other way around. Momentum favors those who move first and refine later. This is where mindset shifts from thinking to doing. The brain learns faster through motion than contemplation. Productivity compounds when action becomes your default response instead of analysis. There's a reason the simplest philosophy often works best. JFDI, just do it. No overthinking, no endless prep. Messy action beats perfect paralysis every time. Once you move, confidence follows. And when you stack action on action, identity locks in. That's when discipline becomes who you are, not something you force. From here, everything connects back to one question: what happens when you finally apply all of this consistently? Now, here's the part that matters. If you watch this far, you're not lazy. Lazy people don't seek clarity. You do. What's been missing wasn't ambition, it was a system. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself to suffer. It's about designing your life so the right action becomes the obvious action. And that starts today, not someday. So here's your first move right now. Go back to step one. Grab a piece of paper. Dump everything out of your head. No apps, no perfection, just clarity. A clear mind acts, a confused mind negotiates, and negotiation is where momentum dies. Ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do today that moves my life forward instead of keeping it busy? And before you leave, don't stop here. Understanding these 7 steps rewires how you act, but protecting that progress is the next level. That's why I made a video breaking down 30 silent habits that quietly rewired my life no one talks about in 17. These habits are what keep discipline alive when motivation fades. Click it next, because real personal growth isn't about knowing more. It's about becoming someone who applies. Stay quiet, stay sharp, stay in progress.